On this episode, we look at the new strategic plan for sidewalks in Nashville, Tennessee. Then we talk with a planner in Birmingham, Alabama. We stop by Broadway in Sylacauga, Alabama. A businessman chose Broadway for its pedestrian environment. A cyclist is pushing for bike lanes in Sylacauga. Finally, transportation is an important issue at a family services center. Stay tuned. We're in Nashville talking with Bob Murphy, who's president of RPM Transportation Consultants. What does your company do?
We're transportation engineers and planners. And we do a wide range of traffic engineering, transportation planning. One of our areas of specialty is bicycle and pedestrian planning and design.
And you've got a draft report that's going into its final version, hopefully later this week. What's that report?
It's the strategic plan for sidewalks and bikeways for Metro Nashville.
How'd all that get started?
It really evolved over several years. Several years ago, Metro Nashville realized that there was a growing demand for bicycle and pedestrian facilities, and they identified a need to develop a comprehensive bicycle and pedestrian plan. Then it changed over about another year period to where the focus became on sidewalks, and in particular, part of that was because of Metro had reached an agreement with the Federal Department of Justice to bring all their sidewalks into compliance with Americans with Disabilities Act. And they needed a plan of action for how they could do that. So that part of that part of that task was rolled into this total plan, and then the plan became the strategic plan for sidewalks and bikeways.
How do you go about putting together a plan like that?
Well, it was a great challenge, and I think, first of all, we didn't really know of any other city that had done a plan just like this. There were a lot of cities, of course, that had done bicycle and pedestrian plans, but none that had to deal with all the various issues, particularly the ADA type issues that this plan demanded. So a lot of it was, one of the first things we did was sit down and just figure out, how do we attack this problem? How do we format the project and the plan so that it addresses all the issues effectively? And then we just got to work at dealing with all the various pieces to it.
And when you decide you need to build sidewalks, which ones do you do first?
Well, I think that's exactly one of the challenges that Metro was facing. Metro Nashville, under Mayor Bill Purcell, had 2 years ago, in the year 2000, decided that with the mayor's commitment towards sidewalks, that they were going to they budgeted $20 million for sidewalk improvements. The following year, they budgeted $15 million for sidewalk improvements. That was more money than had been spent in the previous 50 years total on sidewalks in Nashville. What they realized, though, is they really didn't have a good process for identifying where those sidewalks needed to be, what would be the highest priorities. So part of our task was to develop that process. And what we did is we came up with really a pretty creative technique, we think, and it, as far as we know, nobody else had done anything like this. And the procedure that we developed, we've called the Sidewalk Priority Index, that basically takes factors that we felt like represented the type of things that generate pedestrian traffic, things or areas or factors that result in the need for sidewalks, things like proximity to schools, proximity to transit routes, density and an intensity of land use. And we developed this system that ranks Nashville's streets based on how many of those factors are present for a certain area. And the locations with the highest scores are the ones that have the highest priorities.
And they're putting a lot of money into sidewalks. You've come up with a lot of need in your report. How long is it going to take to build what they want to build?
Well, first of all, we had to one of our tasks was to identify all the ADA compliance problems in Metro Nashville and develop a plan for solving those, and with cost estimates. Our cost estimates total $285 million to bring sidewalks into compliance, and we estimated that over about a 15-year period, if Metro spent about $20 million a year, that they could bring their sidewalks into compliance, bring all their curb ramps into compliance, and then also construct about 120 miles of new sidewalks in areas of the county that really needed them.
What's been the public reaction to all this?
It's really been tremendous. I mean, we had a total of 11 public meetings, and it was a very highly publicized project. We've got tremendous response, positive response. We had a public opinion survey done for the project, and a total of 81% of the people surveyed said that they wanted to have more sidewalks and bikeways in Nashville. So there really is a growing recognition by Nashvillians of the importance of having good sidewalks and bikeways.
We're in Birmingham, Alabama, talking with Tom Maxwell, who's an environmental planner. Yes. What does an environmental planner do?
Well, I am charged with the responsibilities related to managing a watershed study that we've received an EPA grant. We have a team of consultants looking at future development scenarios and ways of urban design, which in large part I think will embrace more bikeable, walkable communities. As well, I'm also overseeing and I'm the coordinator for our bicycle pedestrian plan update. And we had a plan in 1996 that we have formed an advisory committee, and we'll now be revisiting that plan to see if we can improve upon what we did in 96 based on our existing regional needs.
And you say we, who is it that you work for?
Regional Planning Commission of Greater Birmingham, that is. We serve a 6-county region, and we're one of 12 regional councils within the state of Alabama. And we are also staff to the Birmingham Metropolitan Planning Organization.
And you're updating
we're updating
plan?
The plan that we're updating is really the non-motorized element of the MPO's 2025 long-range transportation plan. A lot of words, but what that is essentially it's a long-range plan at looking at our regional needs for transportation, motorized and non-motorized. My responsibility will be addressing the non-motorized needs relative to walkable community concepts, bikeable community concepts, and also looking at future transit needs.
And how does pedestrians fit into transit?
Well, many may be familiar, many are not, with transit-oriented development, which is if you want to call it a philosophy, it embraces development patterns that create more walkable communities to allow better pedestrian flow to and from not just retail, work, live, and shop environments, but also to transit stations and stops, whether it's your bus stop, your light rail station. And development patterns that are largely unwalkable and bikeable are not going to be feasible development patterns for future transit infrastructure. So in other words, to really get the bang for the buck when you're talking about public dollars for implementing transit, you really have to look at the needs of the pedestrian and the cyclist, especially the pedestrian, because everybody is a pedestrian. You don't get to the local bus stop without having to either walk or if you're physically challenged in a wheelchair. And there are certainly ADA issues there as well that need to be considered. And we're going to be taking a close look at a variety of needs, whether you're a pedestrian, cyclist, physically challenged and in a wheelchair. All of those things. I have a committee that is made up of diverse interest, on and off-road cyclists, folks who just to get out and enjoy walking and biking, and hopefully these people will bring a level of interest and expertise to the table so we can adopt in the fall of 2004. The MPO, that is, will adopt our plan, which will assist local governments throughout the region to making our community more bikeable and walkable. And I would say this too, we have like the largest, or I should say the greatest vehicular miles traveled, second greatest rather, behind Nashville in the country for all of 280 MSAs. And so the statistics, and that was based on census data, statistics show that we have some serious deficits when it comes to bikeability and walkability.
We're in Sylacauga, Alabama, talking with Joel Cochran.
Oh.
What street are we on?
This is Broadway.
What's the significance of Broadway?
Well, it's our main street. It's also a state highway, so that presents some challenges for us when our community basically loses jurisdiction over their best street, turn it over to the Department of Transportation. And for them, once a highway, always a highway. But this is the heart of our city. It is the one place that has a sense of identity, a sense of location, and it's the one place that the community feels kind of a sense of despair if the storefront is empty or several stores are empty or things aren't going well or the commercial activities are anemic. It's the one place people really care about and have a sense of affection for. So it's an important place.
What's the function of the pedestrian on a main street?
Well, walking is a choice here. It is an option, and that choice is not really available in most of the post-World War II developments. This is all in the pre-World War II grid of streets, and I think it's important. It provides that choice of getting out and having face-to-face interaction with other human beings, being able to have the option of taking care of some daily needs here by foot. But the greatest thing is that you wake up in the morning, if you live within walking distance of here, and you have the choice of taking care of your daily needs by your car or by foot. In most communities, and even in this community, in many housing subdivisions, there's only one choice, and that's getting in your car, burning a gallon of gas to buy a gallon of milk. A lot of things that just don't make sense. This is the place, if we want to rebuild that tightness, that walkability, that mix of uses. This is for this community. We want to rebuild that and honor that. This is where we should start, our downtown areas.
And some of the older areas of Broadway here, you still had...
obnoxious use. You saw the big truck. We want the traffic. You need the traffic for community, for commercial activity. We want the cars. You need them, but the state highway and the big pulpwood trucks like you just saw there, that can be a noxious use. And we haven't found a solution for that yet. But what was your question again?
One of the more intact parts of Broadway where the storefronts come up to the sidewalk, but some parts of it, you kind of lost that storefront to the sidewalk.
Yeah, you probably understand and know what pedestrians need. They need to be entertained. They need to be in an area that's where there's something to look at. That the pedestrian experience a sense of dignity. Rather than being greeted by parking lots and car hoods on one side and then vehicles moving 70 miles an hour on the other side. Well, this is the alternative. This place has interesting storefronts, traffic that's relatively calm, and in an area that's almost like an outdoor room, where the street width is very nicely scaled to the building heights, and the buildings are brought to the street. When you get those correct dimensions, it does feel like an outdoor room here. Now, if you go out another block down here, you're greeted by parking lots. And people feel sorry for you when you see you walking down there, even though we have sidewalks. They pull over and ask you, is everything okay? You know, it's kind of strange if you want to walk and people feel sorry for you and pull over and ask if you can have if you need a ride. But in an area like this, an old commercial center like this, you don't feel that way. You feel it's just, well, in fact, a lot of people do drive to town. They leave their housing subdivision, their cul-de-sac, come to town, park their car, and actually walk around the community. So it's kind of neat. So actually, more people would choose that option than going out and walking around the walking trail that's out on the highway that's been built next to the school. So,
and we get farther down Broadway here, widens out to 4 lanes, speed limit's up to 40 miles an hour.
And that's in an area where we have some of our best housing stock. Again, it's this challenge, this give and take between the needs of the state and the needs of other citizens of the state to pass through and to travel, and the needs of the community. And in our community, like many other communities, I think that there's an imbalance there. We've reached a tipping point where the transportation of the highway engineers have had quite an impact on our community. And I think we need to pull, by design more traffic calming designs and better pedestrian designs by narrowing the street, improving the pedestrian design. There are a lot of, and you gave us some examples of what we could do here. We go from a 2-lane road here with a turning lane, and then we get to our great housing area where some of our oldest homes are. It widens to 4 lanes, and very hostile place where young families with children, it's not a good option, not a good place to live. Another thing that's happened over the years is we've lost a little bit of some of the amenities that make housing in those areas strong. And one amenity is the neighborhood grammar school. And now our 2 grammar schools are on the edge of town. And believe me, that impacts housing values, and it impacts the value and vitality of this commercial district also. So it affects everything is intermingled. A lot of it related to pedestrian design and pedestrian, how hostile it is for the pedestrian, how inviting it is.
We're in Sylacauga, Alabama, talking with Herb Haynes. What's this building we're in?
This is an old building downtown on Broadway Street in Sylacauga, Alabama. It's a store we're renovating for a coffee cafe called Chit Chats.
Why here and not out on the burbs next to Walmart?
Well, a lot of people actually encouraged us to go out on the main 4-lane and be there, but we felt like, we wanted to be somewhere where there's more walking traffic, more of the downtown type atmosphere that, and go back to the downtown area where people walk. They can come, go to stores, drop in, have a cup of coffee. We wanted to get back to the older atmosphere of being able to walk downtown. People, coming by, parades coming by, and just enjoy the downtown area. We felt like more people would come in and visit us that way.
What are the challenges of trying to fix up an old building like this?
A lot of challenges. There's a lot of city codes. Things have to be updated to come up to standard codes. For handicap accessibilities. The wiring codes have to come up to standards. Fire codes have to be met. So it's quite a challenge to bring it up and basically we're stripping everything down in this building except for the original tins and the brick walls and the plaster. And other than that, we're just about having to redo everything: wiring, plumbing, electrical. Everything's got to be redone to bring it up to standard codes for today.
Will people still be able to tell that this was an old building when you're done?
Oh, absolutely. We've got the old tins that we're going to leave up here, the original tins in the ceiling. We've got an old skylight that we're going to try to open up and and open that up to the public, and then, you know, the old walls are old plaster walls, so they'll be original plaster walls. And then the brick walls, you'll be able to obviously tell that they're old, and we're going to clean those up and put a polyurethane or something over those, trying to cover them up and seal them and protect them. Absolutely, you'll be able to tell it's an old building.
We're in Sylacauga, Alabama, talking with Will Crook. How do you get around town?
I ride my bike.
What sort of problems do you encounter trying to get around town on a bike?
People yelling at me. It kind of, they tell me to get off the roads when they don't care. They think the roads are just for cars, and it's not really. It's for bikes too.
And what would you like to see the town do to make it easier for bicyclists?
It's to paint bike lanes on the roads, and so it would be easier for bikes and cars to be on the roads, to travel from here to there, point A, point B, from point A to point B.
Now, what have you done to let the town know about your concerns?
I've gotten about 400 signatures to incorporate. I guess it would be incorporate. Well, to put in bike lanes around town, so it would be easier to get. So it would be easier to get. So nobody would have to. So they wouldn't have to walk all the time. You know.
So. And when you're riding your bike around, are there other people riding bikes around as well?
Yes, sir. There are, but most of them go against the flow. They ride bikes on the sidewalks. They ride bikes in the roads, but they ride the wrong direction. They're going against the flow of traffic, but you're supposed to go with the flow of traffic. And it's against the law, or supposed to be against the law, to ride bikes on the sidewalks. And that way, when bikes are on the sidewalks and you're on the sidewalk too, you have no way of telling if somebody's behind you on a bike or not.
And getting bike lanes in, it helps solve that problem?
I think they will. If everybody's in the right perspective, they will solve a lot of that.
We're in Sylacauga, Alabama, talking with Margaret Morton, who's Executive Director of SAFE. What is SAFE?
SAFE is a family services center, and it is truly a grassroots, community-based program to support families to become self-sufficient and independent.
What areas do families have troubles in where you can help them out?
I guess the major challenges that families have are in the area of education, transportation, affordable child care, and jobs. That are all the primary challenges that we have seen and or have worked with families and helping them overcome that.
And are those areas related?
Yeah, they're related. They're related because first of all, if your goal is to be self-sufficient and independent, then you're going to need a job. And many of our families have young children, so they're going to need child care if they're going to work. And of course, how are they going to get to work? They've got to have transportation to get to work. And many of the jobs require a certain level of education, at least a high school diploma or a GED. And we have lots of folks that don't have that. And so we try to support them in their goals. We don't define what it is we want them to do, but it's a strengths-based approach where we look at a family's strengths, not your traditional intervention model, which is look at weaknesses and we'll fix it. It's more look at strengths, and we will help that family set their own goals and then set a plan for action for achieving those goals and overcoming those barriers that we mentioned earlier.
In the area of transportation, what sort of troubles do people tend to have with that?
They don't have transportation, or if they do, they have a primary mode of transportation which is dependent upon someone else to get them where they need to go, maybe a neighbor or a relative, and then when that system breaks down, they are not able to get to where they need to go, whether it's to a doctor's office or whether it's to get their children to child care or primarily to employment. Grocery store, they just don't have the means to get there.
And what sort of solutions are you able to come up with a problem like that?
Well, what we try to do is help that family develop their own plan, and more than one plan, because we always, as I mentioned before, sometimes Plan 1 moves to Plan 2. And we have some resources within the community. We provide a lot of transportation to those individuals. Our caseworkers, our staff do that. We are developing, with a partnership with the City of Sylacauga, our rural and senior citizens transportation program that will be beginning Monday, February the 3rd. So we're really excited about that.
And what's that going to consist of?
We will be managing the existing program and trying to promote that program in the community and to develop the networks so that people know, first of all, that it exists, and then so we can meet their need. And their need may not be traditional hours from 8 to 5. Their need may be after hours, and so we want to be able to have those systems in place and that support in place and those vans on the road when they're needed to be on the road. Much of our industry runs a 6 in the morning to 6 at night shift, so you can see if you're running your transportation department from 7:30 in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon, there are lots of folks that are not going to have access. And our main goal is access.
Now, what role would walking or bicycle riding play for the families that you deal with?
Well, actually, we have participants here at SAFE that do walk because we are a small community, and those individuals that live within walking distance, certainly that is a tremendous resource for them, and the cheapest resource, I might add. But we also have barriers in those regards because some of our people, either for medical reasons or whatever else, aren't able to be pedestrians, aren't able to walk. But that is a resource for some of our families. We do have those that ride bikes and use that as their major source of transportation. But what our goal is to find what fits for that family and what fits for that individual and help them access that and know about it.
Visit us on the internet at www.pedestrians.org.